We're talking to my friend Monte Solberg, former cabinet minister in the Conservative government. Great to see you out here.
Great to be here, Ezra.
Monte, let me just quickly mention the background behind us, the massive port of Vancouver. I can't come to this beautiful high-tech city with the gleaming skyscrapers without noticing all this heavy industry all around the downtown. It's a reminder that even in the most high-tech futuristic city in Canada, Vancouver, it's still stuff that comes out of the ground, put in big boats by unionized men and just working hard. This is a hard hat town as well as a fancy town.
Well, it is. I mean, this is the gateway to the Pacific. All of the resources from the rest of the country comes through Vancouver. And in fact, it's the largest exporter of coal in the country. A lot of that goes to Japan and China. Of course, lots of oil comes through here through Trans Mountain pipeline. I mean, it really is a resource-based port right here in this beautiful city.
And I love the fact that you see that with your eyes. Here's question number one for you. Stephen Harper is gone. He's retired. He did his tour of duty. Now you've got Justin Trudeau and his puppet master, Gerald Butts, who used to be the president of World Wildlife Fund Canada, radically anti-pipeline. There's a clip I always show where he says it's not about an alternate route, it's about an alternate economy. That's his words. He believes in getting off anything extracted from the ground. Are we about to see the deindustrialization of Canada's resource sector?
Well, you know, I think the Liberals would have to think twice about this. I mean, it would be the end of the Canadian economy as we know it. Natural resources are an incredibly important segment of the economy. Oil and gas and mining are bigger than manufacturing in Canada. It would completely devastate the economy. That said, if you're ideological, you don't care about reality.
Well, I'm going to take a slightly different perspective. Let me reframe that. You say it would mean the end of the economy as we know it. But to Gerald Butts, he's saying, yeah, that is my point. Decarbonize, deindustrialize, get off fossil fuels. So what to you and I is a horrific recession and unemployment and dislocation, to him is a horrific recession, deindustrialization, dislocation. But he supports that because he wants to deindustrialize. And I don't think I'm projecting ideas onto him that he hasn't himself said. He talks about decarbonizing. So here's my thing, is that what you talk about as a bug, he talks about as a feature. What do you think? Am I being too conspiratorial in my thinking?
Well, there are a lot of people who are very ideological in that government, and it's not just Gerald Butts. They have other people in the PMO who come from the same background. Zoe Caron is there, who's former Sierra Club. There are lots of people.
Marlo Reynolds, Chief of Staff of the Environment Minister.
And if you look at the lobbyist registry these days, it's full of environmental groups, who are in there pushing for exactly this vision of Canada.
Well, listen, we're talking about big issues. Let's bring it back to the Conservative Convention here. Is the Conservative Party, especially here in Vancouver, do you think it's lost its nerve to stand for oil sands and fracking and pipelines and LNG? I hear a lot of green conservatives, if there's such a thing, saying we need to be more modern. We got to be hip to the new generation and update we got to love the carbon tax and we got to be more green. So have we lost our nerve? Has the Conservative Party lost its nerve on the industrial economy?
Well, I don't think so. I think most conservatives believe strongly that we have to have manufacturing, oil and gas, resource development. I think they're trying to figure out how to do it in a way that pulls together an environmental policy that makes sense and will cause young people to want to come to them. I think they're trying to be very practical about it. But, in the end, I think with conservatives, the economy trumps all. And people want the prosperity that we used to enjoy. We're stuck in a cycle of 1% or zero growth right now. We'll never see a growing economy if we, tie it down with a bunch of crazy environmental regulations.
Ontario Conservative PC leader Patrick Brown supports a carbon tax. Michael Chong, leadership candidate for the federal Conservatives, supports a carbon tax. Can you be a conservative and support a carbon tax?
Well, you can, I think, if you say we're going to take all the revenues and reduce other taxes, or even give people a net tax cut. I think you can make that argument. You can make that argument if it looks like it's a way to get a pipeline, or to sort of give the entire oil and gas industry the ability to go ahead and do what it needs to do.
You know what? Rachel Notley and others talk about social license. We'll kneecap the industry with carbon taxes. That'll get the pipelines built. It hasn't got the pipelines built. The NDP itself is not for pipelines. Trudeau's not for pipelines. I think all this social license talk is just a big excuse for saying no. It's like this mystical poison pill. They can say, well, we just don't have social license. Sorry, guys.
Well, there's a lot to that too, Ezra. I won't deny it. I mean, if you look at what happened in the wake of the announcement on climate change in Alberta, where you had the Pembina Institute and various other organizations on the stage talking about how this was a great thing, it wasn't 10 minutes later that they weren't back into the hallways of Parliament and in the legislature saying, we want to end oil and gas development.
Yeah.
So they're playing both sides of this, and they've been effective so far.
It's starting to rain. I got one last question for you before we go in. Who are you looking to see run for the leadership? We got 30 seconds before the rain cuts us off.
Well, I think there's some interesting candidates. Obviously, Jason Kenney is a big favorite of mine. One guy I think is a sleeper candidate is Andrew Scheer.
Oh, really?
I think he's going to run, and he's certainly a conservative. He's worth watching.
All right. Monte Solberg, great to see you again.
Yeah, thanks, Ezra.
Thanks, my friend.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.